Boy X, page 122. Isabel nodded as if she understood, but they both knew that not liking heights and being scared of them were exactly the same thing. I went to this place one time for a friend's birthday party, and we had to climb around all these obstacles in the treetops. There were tight ropes and cargo nets, and it was really high up, I really didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to look like a wimp either. There was a zip line from right at the top of this massive tree, and I just had to close my eyes and jump off the platform. But halfway down, the pulley jammed and Ash could remember it clearly. The sudden jolt, the bite of the harness cutting into his thighs, the tight fist of terror that crushed his insides. I got stuck. I was just dangling there for ages before they could get me down. All my friends thought it was funny. They were looking up at me and laughing, and all I could think was that the cable was going to snap. I was going to fall and die. He looked at Isabel, thinking she was so much tougher than him. Pretty lame, huh? I bet you're not scared of anything. Small dogs. She wiped a drip of rainwater from the end of her nose. What? Little dogs. I don't know why. They look scary when they move, I guess, and all that noise they make. I'm sorry. It was bad to laugh. Ash put his chin on his knees and watched the river boiling. Why did you run? Isabel asked. The jungle is dangerous. You should do what I tell you. Yeah, you said that. Isabel shuffled closer, so her shoulder was against his. Then she nudged him. It was funny. Ash squirmed away and continued to look at the river. Isabel moved closer and nudged him again. It really was. Ash thought about what he must have looked like, running off like an idiot, sliding down the bank. Isabel was right. It must have looked funny. He turned to see her smiling at him through the rain, her hair hanging in wet tendrils, her brown eyes glistening, and he couldn't help smiling back. I guess I must have looked pretty lame. Lame? What is that word? You know, stupid, uncool. Stupid, no. Funny, yes. Yeah, well, whatever. You should smile more, Isabel said. You look handsome when you smile. That took Ash by surprise. No one had ever called him that before. At least, not that he could remember. Maybe if I had something to smile about. He turned his eyes to the river again, watching the white water froth around the edges and surge along the center of its course. Everything's just so weird, he said. I know you don't believe me, but ever since I woke up, it's like, I don't know, it's like I'm not me anymore, except I am me. Isabel frowned. I don't understand. Nor do I. I'm telling you, strange things are happening to me. I feel different. Like hearing things? Yeah, and seeing things I didn't notice before, smelling things. Then sometimes it's like everything is happening in slow motion, and my reactions are quicker. I feel stronger, too. Like a superhero? No. He felt embarrassed at the suggestion. Not like that, more like... He tried to think of a way to explain it. More like when you play a video game for the second time, and it lets you keep all the upgrades. You mean New Game Plus? Yeah, except I'm Ash Plus. Like, I've been wearing a see-through mask, plastic suit all my life, and now I'm taking it off. This is why you knew Thorn was there in the dark. You heard the boar. You smell things. You don't get tired in the jungle. There's this, too. Ash held up his hand, glad to be finally talking about it, glad that Isabel believed him. I cut myself with the knife right before we left your house. Right there? Isabel pointed to a faint red line on his skin. Ash nodded and then unfastened his boot, pulling it off before removing both socks and unwinding the bandage. And these cuts are gone. He grabbed his foot to look at the sole, and the rain washed away the dried blood, revealing unbroken skin beneath. That's not normal, Isabel said. No, Ash put the socks and boots back on. So what the heck is happening to me? Is it the island? Isabel shrugged. I've never seen anything like this before. And all this stuff in my head, I thought it was going to drive me crazy. It still feels like that? I'm getting used to it. Ash tried to put his feelings into words. It's like if you go somewhere new. You notice things, but after a while you stop noticing them unless you really look, or unless something changes. Well, when I notice or really concentrate, I can smell all kinds of things, see things. I can even hear your heartbeat. So what do I smell like? Ash remembered back to the first time he had seen Isabel. Sweet ginger, cinnamon, coconut, and a little sweaty. Isabel snorted. Well, it is hot here. And Ash closed his eyes and focused on Isabel. And he opened his eyes and looked at her. What? Ash shook his head. Kronos, Isabel said. It's inside me, isn't it? You can smell it. It wasn't just inside the lab. It was everywhere. Ash turns away. But you don't have it. It doesn't affect you, does it? He shook his head. I can feel it. Her voice was quiet. I am getting sick. No, maybe you're just tired and... But you can smell it. She was right. The scent of cooker gas was all around her. But now there was something else, too. A sickening sweetness, like overripe fruit just on the turn, with a thread of rancid milk knotted through it. Ew. He knew at once that it was the smell of death, the stink of Kronos, slowly destroying her body. I don't want to die, she said. You won't. Ash put a hand to the tag around his neck. What happened to Dad might have been his fault, but nothing like that was ever going to happen again. You're going to be fine. Kane and Pierce are out there, and they have the cure. We'll find them. We'll find them, and everyone will be fine. You, Mom, your dad, everyone. But when Isabel looked at him, he saw the doubt in her eyes. Go ahead and answer the questions for that section. If you have any questions or you need help, please email me.